and welcome everyone to Shadow Talk Unfiltered. I am your co-host Lisa.
I'm Juliet.
And today we have the privilege to be joined by the amazing Heather Amaro, who's either down there or over there or over there currently. Everyone say hi. Heather Amaro is a field investigator and the current co-host on Expedition X, known for her grounded approach to high strangeness cases. With a background in anthropology and years of on-the-ground research, she brings a sharp eye, calm presence, and real investigative skill to every unexplained encounter she tackles on the series. She's also had a phenomenal life with paranormal encounters, along with her mother and her grandmother, and we can't wait to talk about that because, you know, we're all about the girls here. And we are just so privileged and so excited that we get to all talk together and support this community. So thank you, Heather, for joining us.
Heather.
Oh my gosh, how excited.
Yay! Thank you so much. Are y'all going to kill me if I already say a correction?
Yes.
Oh, go for it. Go for it.
I don't have a background in anthropology.
Oh, hit us with it. Oh, my Lord. My apology.
So sorry. Apology. But one of my biggest things is I like being honest, so I don't want anyone to think I'm someone that I'm not. But
yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's funny because we all get lumped into this idea that you have to have a background in anthropology or archaeology to be an explorer, researcher, and investigator. And a lot of us don't. I mean, I have no degree under my belt whatsoever. Juliet's done half of a degree, I believe. But
I did anthropology.
Yeah, half of an anthropology degree. But, you know, like, you don't need to have a degree to be in this industry or to be in the position that you're in. And I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
No, and honestly, like I did take cultural anthropology classes. I transitioned to history, transitioned to international relations. And then after going to college multiple times, I ended up in nutrition. And
nutrition?
It makes no sense. I was like, oh, I'm just going to do this because, you know, the paranormal is something I have with my mom and I love it. And it's our hobby and we have our own group and we can investigate whatever we want, but nothing's ever going to come from it. And then lo and behold.
Amazing. Amazing. And that is one of our questions is how on earth did you get started in this space? I mean, maybe we should take it all the way back and tell us about your grandma and your mom and kind of your upbringing within this kind of paranormal space.
So my grandmother was so fascinated with the Roswell crash, right? So, I mean, obviously she lived through that. And I can't imagine actually living through that experience and reading the headlines that you would just think, well, that's it. We're about to be taken over by aliens, right? I mean, I would.
Definitely back then, yeah.
Yeah, certainly, right?
It's over.
You subscribe to these magazines. One of them was Fate. They're kind of like these mythological magazines or paranormal magazines, supernatural magazines, you could call them back then. And so that she had them laying around. And so she would research everything, but she never investigated anything. She just read everything she possibly could about it. So when you leave those magazines around, what's going to happen if you have a daughter or daughters? They're going to read them. So she taught this passion to my mom. And so my mom was reading all those magazines. She was so fascinated. She loved everything about the paranormal. And when I came around, my grandmother passed away, I think I was 8. So I didn't get to experience that same level of investigation or investigative research that my mom did. But my mom was like, you want to watch Ghostbusters? Let's watch Ghostbusters. You want to watch the Poltergeist? Let's watch Poltergeist. And I'm like, yes. And then it was like everything I could read, everything I could watch, anything that I could get my hands on. I was like, yep, I am going to read about dragons, read about giants, read about ghosts, read about witches, wizards, sorcerers, you name it, I read it.
Yeah.
And so from there, my mom just really fostered this passion and curiosity, which I think is honestly what has helped me the most with this job, is just staying curious with any lead, any story, and not just shutting things down. Because I think so many times people are just like, nope, that can't be real. And it's like, well, maybe have a little imagination. But what happened was all of these paranormal shows started coming out. And my mom was like, man, I always loved the paranormal. And I'm like, yeah, I like it too. And she was like, well, I found this group that's about an hour away and we can go on an investigation. You want to do it? And I think this would have been 21, 22 years ago, 23 years ago, somewhere around that. And so we went. And the coolest thing about this investigation, it was another woman. So, which felt supportive, right? Like, I don't think we would have, if it was a male-led group, I don't think we would have just been like, hey, we'll go to a stranger's place and do this. We probably would have been too scared, right?
Oh,
but
sure.
we went into this, it was a loft in this town that's notoriously, it's old, it's got mafia ties, prohibition, the whole thing. It's amazing. But we went into this loft apartment that was over 100 years old, and we sat down on this couch, right? And we were like, what is going on? This is not what the shows show. Usually you walk around with a camera or something. But then she pulled out a video camera. And this video camera was tied into a TV for a live feed. So we sat on the couch, she turned on the camera, turned on the TV, and all of a sudden you just see orbs flying everywhere. And you're like, well, is that pre-recorded? No, because you could wave, and there they were. And this was way back. Like, I'm talking about she recorded onto a VCR tape. So I mean, yeah, it was just old school. I remember turning around from the couch and being like, I see something back there. I don't even know what the hell I'm looking at right now. But I see something, and it looks like a giant orb shrinking into itself.
Oh,
and she was,
wow.
This woman was like, oh yeah, that's the portal. I'm like, the portal?
What's the portal?
I've read about things, but this is wild. And from that moment, we were hooked. So we did some investigations with that group, and then my mom decided, let's form our own group. And so we did, but yeah, we've been hooked ever since. And that was
wow. So that's wild. I want to know about the portal. What did it look like?
It looks like a giant, and I know there's so much discussion about orbs. Is it dust? Is it a bug? And I'm like, yeah, I get it. If that's, on a camera or a picture, you have to rule out all those if it's a camera flare. But this is something I saw with my own eyes. But it was about that big, about 1.5 feet wide. And it was just glowing with light. And I was like, have I lost my mind? Maybe I have. No one else has told me about this. I've read about portals in books, but it's usually with a wizard or a sorcerer.
Yeah.
So it was fascinating. And I will say the orbs were coming from that direction and flying around. Yeah. So they fly past our heads back, and it was a cool experience.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's so cool. I mean, Lisa and I have had the same experience with, we've seen something and not kind of realize it. And, we've spoken to other people, and they're going, do you realize that was probably a portal? And both me and Lisa are like, oh, okay. We're like, same thing. It's like, we've kind of read about them, but we didn't really think, then you kind of go back to that situation and think about it, and you're like, oh my God.
That's what happens. Sometimes you're so shocked at seeing something that you're like, did I just see?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
And it's so fun.
So do you kind of class yourself as being clairvoyant or connected or sensitive? Where would you kind of place yourself?
I would say sensitive. I see things, I hear things, and what I always do when I investigate is I walk through, I refuse to go into a space before we're about to investigate. I don't do that. So when I go into the space, I'm fresh, and then I feel out each room, and I can usually feel the energy of where I know I'm going to interact with something is the best way I can describe it.
Yeah. That's kind of like where I'm at as well. I can see stuff, I hear stuff, I feel stuff.
Yes.
You just kind of get this, you can walk into a room and go, oh, this is not a good room. You're like, okay, I'm ready. Just prepare myself and let's go.
Yeah. It's weird. And I didn't say feel, but it is weird. I felt, it feels like a feather brushing your arm, and you're like, did I just feel something? Did something just happen? And a lot of times I always amp up a lot more, because to me, it never ceases to amaze me whenever you see or hear or feel something, because this is crazy that you get to experience it, So every single time is like Christmas morning all over again if I get any activity.
And like I've seen you like in some situations, like Hoska, I think it was Hoska Castle.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's been on my bucket list. Like it's scary that it's been on my bucket list. And then you go and sit in there by yourself in this little circle, and you're like, wow! It's like I'm jumping with you.
That's crazy. So one of my friends gave me that communication ritual, we'll call it. And I don't take any of those lightly, because I feel like you have to really protect yourself. And I always wear protection, and you have to know what you're doing, right? And so I always make sure and go over exactly what the words are, what we're doing, what the circle is, everything about that, right? And I sure as hell make sure to close it down. And I make sure to cleanse myself afterwards, right? But that one was so crazy, because right as I said, like the lines to communicate, to open up the communication, this shutter slammed directly behind me so hard that I was like, this is a terrible idea. Like, this is what it's like, I'm over what people believe. It's a pit to hell. And here I am trying to communicate with whatever is here. And this castle is insane anyways. Like the way the castle is built, everything about that castle is just
terrifying.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying, and it's phenomenal, because it's who builds a castle with all of the defensive positions facing inside.
Yeah. I know. It's always like, it's always just been there. It's like I want to go there. It's just kind of.
Oh,
do I want to go there? And then I watched you. I'm like, maybe not.
Well, you gotta go. You gotta go. I mean, it is something. It's wild, and that's not to mention like what the Nazis were doing there. You know, trying to harness the power. Oh. They believed that Hoska had power, and they wanted to harness it. You know, so it was wild.
Yeah. Well, and they went to so many different locations on that kind of esoteric search, right? They were desperate to go and find this kind of occult power, that this mystical power that was kind of being hidden. And they went up to the forest through, you know, Norway and Iceland and that sort of stuff. And they came down to Antarctica, just, you know, below me, kind of close to me, and just down here. And I have a real love for Antarctica, because there's words on the street that we found a crystal skull down there, and it's in Christchurch in New Zealand. And I know, I'm going searching for it, and I'm going to invite you, Heather, to come to New Zealand.
I want to do that. I want to.
I want to find a crystal skull,
right? But not have what happens to. Kate Blanchett's Australian, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not have what happens to her in an Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
No, that's.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, no.
Yeah, absolutely. Say hi to everyone. If anyone's got a question, or you want to drop anything into the comments, drop it in the chat there. We've got so many ladies on with us at the moment. This is beautiful. Welcome everyone. So Heather, I have a question. Let's go back. Let's go back to your grandma and your mama. Did they have, do you think this is a generational thing that was passed down to what you have now? What does that look like?
Well, it's so interesting. I was talking with my mom the other day, and she said her grandfather was interested in the paranormal. And I was like, what? I didn't know anything about that. So I need to follow up on that. And we had started to chat a little bit about it before we got too busy. But yeah, I do. I don't think, look, there's studies that show if you're a kid, if your parents like to read, you're more likely to read, right? You pass that passion on. I think it's the same thing, you know, like my mom loved to read and research and do everything, and supported me being curious and passionate about everything I possibly could. So because her mom supported her in that, like it trickled down to me. So yeah, I don't think if my mom wouldn't have had access to Fate magazine and to my grandmother's passion about the paranormal, I don't think I potentially would have got it. Maybe I would have found it on my own, because I do love fantasy novels, and I am a hermit, as I mentioned to y'all.
I'm the same. it's really interesting because I did too. I found out later on that, my nana, who was like 5 foot nothing, barely 5 foot, used to travel around the world, and she taught in Egypt, and and she had this real spiritual thing. And then I found out that my mum used to have a guide, and she used to do writings and drawings and stuff, and stuff that you find out like years and years later on. And I was having experiences, but at that time nobody was talking about them, so it was something that I didn't discuss. But yeah, and now my grandkids, my granddaughter tried everything to have the day off today to speak to you.
How old are you? You have grandchildren?
Yeah, I'm 54.
Oh, yeah.
No, 53. Me and Lisa were trying to figure it out the other day. I'm like, how old are we?
You look so young. What are y'all doing down there?
I tell you what, she's just got the best genes ever. I hate her, like, with a passion.
I'm saying I look incredibly young. Oh my God.
I know, and I'm sitting over here like just going, oh God, okay.
I know. My son asked me the other day, goes, what do you want for your birthday? I went, Botox. And he goes, Mum.
Not lying.
Yeah, not joking, Mum. Yeah, but
so do you think your mum and your grandfather have paranormal abilities? Or
yeah, my mom definitely does. I can't speak to my grandmother. We didn't get to share it. I was too young when she passed away, but my mom definitely does. Yeah, she's definitely sensitive. She can hear things and feel things.
Oh, God,
she says she doesn't see things, but it'll happen one day for sure.
And when she does, she'll come back and talk to you about it. You might see.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So yeah,
it's all energy, isn't it? That energy is kind of passed on, and if you're kind of open to that energy, it's going to come in. And I've been opening Lisa up a little bit more when it comes to stuff like that, because she'd never been on a real investigation before. I mean, well, we've kind of had, we lived in a haunted house, which was horrendous. We lasted 8 years. I don't know how we lasted 8 years.
Wow.
Well, I lasted 8 years there. Lisa came and left.
I was like a 2-year getting out of there.
Yeah.
She's committed to the cause.
But I make her do it.
And like, honestly, like it's really interesting. And I think we connect to different things, right? Like, and I know the ladies here watching, our members right now, all connect to different parts of the cosmic framework, kind of different parts of the supernatural, right? I didn't even know what the word apparition was when I first kind of started this. I was like, what is that thing walking around? And Juliet was like, oh, an apparition. And I was like, oh, a ghosty roasty. Like, let's use its real terminology. And so like, and the same with, cryptids. And like, I've always seen UFOs. I've seen bucket loads of stuff in the sky. Is there something that you connect with more than the other?
Well, so I am a ghosty girl. But I will say I have seen UFOs as well. So I love UFOs too. I mean, I think who wouldn't? But for me, I always have a tendency to love haunted locations and always connect the most with whatever's in there. That's not to say I don't love the cryptids and the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot. Love them. It's just whenever I go on investigations for those as well, I have to also worry about like the bears and the wolves and the venomous snakes. And it's a little easier for me to be in a haunted house or a haunted jail or a haunted asylum or a haunted castle.
You're not going to get eaten by something.
Right?
I'll have the demons any day. Thank you very much.
I can knock on wood, somewhat.
Yeah. You don't want to have to deal with those too much.
That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
I have a question for you, Heather. You talked about protection and all of that sort of stuff. Can you kind of walk us through what your process would be, maybe for your protection rituals, or what you do before you go into somewhere like that? Because I know you've been into some really kind of pretty scary places that normal paranormal investigators probably wouldn't step foot in.
Right.
And so what do you do to kind of protect yourself within those sort of spaces?
My grandmother-in-law, it's called a azabache. So it's essentially Cuban evil eye. So if it ever breaks, that means someone tried to curse me. So I always wear this. My mother-in-law and aunt gave it to me after she passed. I have different crystals that I use, different styles, different rocks, different minerals. I have holy water. I have holy salt, blessed salt. I have blessed medallions. I research before going in, like what I'm dealing with, but regardless, I have like the bare minimum that I always keep in my backpack is like the protective crystals, minerals, rocks, and then always wear, and I also, here's one, like I always have like bracelets a lot of the time on, that have been blessed, just because I'm like, the more the merrier, honestly. I'm not Catholic, but you better believe I'm getting some blessed water.
Yeah. Join the party, right?
Yeah.
Well, so that's something that we always talk about on our lives, and we always talk to our members about it in regards to protection and making sure that you're not just walking into a space. And the same thing goes with, ufology, with any, like especially cryptids and all of that sort of stuff, is alongside paranormal investigation, is making sure that you are protected on a spiritual level, and then you're leaving everything behind.
Right. And I should have said that too. Like before I enter a space, I ask for protection. In some way, you could call it a prayer. I ask for my ancestors to guide me and to help provide protection and help me communicate with something that's there if, it's in a safe manner. And then, I always say a closing prayer that's essentially like, you're not coming with me, buddy. And then even if something does, then I go back and I shower and do another prayer. It's like, you can't be too safe. I remember I had a sage and I saged my whole crew one time. And I was like, y'all don't have a choice. You don't even have a
You ain't bringing this shit home.
If you believe in it or not, you're getting saged.
So that was going to be my next question. So what about the production crew? Like, obviously you're not going in by yourself. You're taking a plethora of people with you, with boom mics and gaffer and whatever else. So
luckily we run on investigations. We want to run it. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You should probably
no, carry on. No, that's exactly what I was going to say.
I'm really bad about it. I get very excited, and then it's like squirrel.
Me too. Us too.
Okay, good. We run a skeleton crew on investigations because I would prefer if no one was with me, but then we wouldn't have a TV show. So
a little camera in the corner.
Right? Yeah. I'm mic'd. And so typically I have another PDR mic sometimes so that my audio guy doesn't have to follow me. And then I usually just have one camera guy if I'm on my own. So for them, it's the same thing. I usually a lot of them are skeptics, and that's good because when stuff really happens, I'm like, How you explain that one? And then they're usually just like, it's weird. But I usually say prayers for them because they're not going to do it. But they didn't have a choice one time with a sage, that's for sure. And sometimes actually, with Phil, I will give him I'm like, take this blessed medallion, like you don't have a choice. Like this time, go, and let's be safe.
I mean, he's a big skeptic, isn't he? He's just like honestly, you just watch him, you're like.
I don't know what would have to happen to have that man believe in ghosts. I honestly don't. In the paranormal, he'd have to be slapped upside the head by Casper. I don't know.
And everything boils down to gases. It's gases and hallucinations.
I'll tell you a good story. One time, and this didn't even make the cut. We were at Chillingham, and Chillingham is amazing. If you want to go to a bucket list place, it doesn't matter.
Another place,
That is like so haunted. You can walk around there and be like, yeah, I get it. And one time when we were investigating, we were in the Great Hall, which is super creepy anyways, because it has all of these artifacts, and you're like, well, anything could be.
Take your pick.
At this point, like there could be attachments all over this, But so we were there and we were investigating, and it was really cool. But then all of a sudden you hear, and I'm like, that's fucking horseshoes on cobblestone. Oh. And they're like, the whole crew heard it. And they're like, well, that's really weird. There were no horses and there was no cobblestone out there. So it was like, well, there's your residual, there you go.
Well, it was probably a rat.
Exactly.
So has there anything like happened behind the scenes which hasn't made it, you know, to the show, which has been quite dark and, you know, where it's kind of affected people? Has there been any kind of situations where it's kind of got a little bit hairy for everyone?
You know, I think the castle, the chateau in France was, that energy there was not good. And there's a lot of places that the energy's not good and it's dark and you can tell there's something there, but like that energy played off of like making you feel whatever you were feeling. If you felt sad, you would feel it like 20 times more.
Yeah.
So that was rough. And another time, just the physical environment and going through the Mayan underworld and the Belize jungle, that touched everybody. That was incredible. And just so, I don't know how they made that trek, you know, hundreds of years ago as a Mayan to get down in there, because that was so physically demanding and dangerous and draining and energetically, like you could see the sacrifices, that it was just like, and you could hear stuff in there and you kept thinking, oh no, all the crew's with us, but you could hear mumbling voices. It was very bizarre and strange and kind of affected everybody. And then I think, you know, what everybody tries to do is you get out of that location and you try to, like, you know, shake it off, brush yourself off, and don't take anything with you. And then you can, once you're checking out, you kind of start to get back to normal. But yeah, those are the two. I'm trying to think. Spike wasn't great. Spike wasn't great for sure. But yeah, I mean, those are the two that are like
what was Spike? Okay, so hang on, Heather, you have to understand, okay? I'm in New Zealand. We have only just received the first episodes of possibly some version of a Josh Gates something. You're not even on our TV right now. I have to watch bootlegged black copies of Expedition X, Heather Amaro co-hosting. Okay, so what the hell is Spike? Enlighten me.
I wish I could help with that. I get a lot of comments about when the hell it's going to drop in different countries, and I'm like, I don't know. I have no control. I'm sorry. Spike Island was essentially Ireland's version of Alcatraz. So it was a prison. It started off as a fort, then it was a prison, and it had such a horrific history because it was everything from like the potato famine. If you didn't have enough food and you tried to steal, they just throw you in there. And so it was a jail. It was a prison, and it was highly active.
Yeah, it was men, women, children, wasn't it? It was just, it was horrendous. Yeah.
It was a mess. Yeah, it was not
another
good.
cool place to go visit.
Exactly.
Lisa, like I've always said I want to go to Alcatraz, and Lisa's like, nah. I'm like, yeah, you're going. So I'm going to have to like drug her and kind of chuck her on the boat and be like, oh, we're going on a cruise.
Heather, it's because I went to San Francisco, right, on a business trip, and I was like, sweet as, this is going to be great. I'm going to go to Alcatraz. This will be amazing. And I stood on the edge of the, but you know, where you can see the island. And I was like, there it is. And then in my head, I got, come on over. And I was like, no, no. If you can talk to me from the island, that means that you're going to touch me when I'm over there, and no people.
Yeah.
Have you been there?
I have not been to Alcatraz. I've been to San Francisco. I didn't have a chance to get over to Alcatraz. But yeah, the prisons are always like,
yeah.
Just like,
prisons and asylums, there's just
Megan says, I saw Alcatraz too from the mainland, and I wanted so much to go over there. That is I don't like it at all. And one of the things that we have a lot of down in the South Pacific is asylums and jails. And, you know, Juliet and I have talked a lot about our asylum trip up to Ballarat, Arrowdale Asylum, which, oh my God, was horrendous. 13,000 plus people died in that asylum, in that hospital, in quotation marks. And it was just, yeah, it was crazy, right? And going in there, when we first started, we went in there at midnight and we were meant to be a part of a group of like 24 people. Heather, they all cancelled. It was just Juliet and myself and the two, and I was like, that's not okay.
You got way more activity because of that.
Oh, yeah. We had activity in every room, and the lady that took us through, she said she has never ever had so much activity. She says, you two and your, we just went in there, we're like, hey guys, this is us, what's going on? And the interactions that we had, they were so good. But it was funny, like literally you were driving up, and because it was nighttime, driving up this really creepy driveway, and then you just see it, and both me and Lisa were like, oh no. Oh God, why did we choose to do this?
Yeah, but at least we're together.
Yeah. Thanks. When she pushed me into the freezer in the morgue, I felt very together. Anyway, it's not the Lisa and Juliet show. It's the Heather
We've all been there. We've all been in a morgue.
Have you been into a freezer in a morgue, Heather?
Luckily I didn't have to get into the tray because it was brought in. So, but yeah, definitely.
We were on the tray. We got pushed in.
Oh Lord. Amazing.
Ladies, really quickly, let's read a couple of these comments real quick. Emmy says Alcatraz is pretty cleared out and there's a lot of people being pushed through all the time, so it's a bit of an odd place. Yeah, I imagine that energy is kind of up and down and all over the show, right? Erin says asylums are no joke. Look into the trans Allegheny lunatic asylum in West Virginia. So chilling.
Yeah.
I've investigated there and I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Have you got an experience that happened there that you want to share that you can remember off the top of your head?
I got terribly sick there and threw up everywhere, and it was not how I thought I was going to be on TV.
Wow.
No, it was really terrible there. So I felt like there was something messing with us a lot of the time, like just something not mischievous. It was a little bit more devious than that. But then when I had to go into like where the criminals were held, that was not good. That was bad. That was really bad. And we went into Gates and I went into a solitary confinement cell, and that was not good. So yeah, that was not a great place. But it's so fascinating because I would still go back there.
Yeah.
I'd investigate them.
And that's the crazy thing, isn't it? We can have like these really dark experiences, but you're like, I want to go back and do that again to see if it happens again, or I want to go somewhere else, It's almost like an addiction, isn't it? Like you're just like, I want to go back to that place, and
when you see a door close on its own, or something slam shut, or a light, or you feel something, or you hear something, you're like, well, it's out there, so now I got to keep on investigating again. It's fascinating.
Yeah, we've seen like a few like really full apparitions, and the one was when we went to Ballarat and stuff, and we saw a nurse, and because I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm so confused, and I pointed it out to Lisa and the lady. I went, what's that? And they both turned around and looked, and then our guide turned around and screamed because she was like, oh my God. And then we were like, what? She's like, I've never seen the nurse before. So 3 of us saw this full apparition. It was insane.
That's so cool. I see a lot of shadow figures, and we were filming once, and it's amazing because this is obviously what happens. Cameras aren't up yet, and I'm like, hey, let's wait. There's someone walking down the sidewalk. There's someone coming towards us. Let's wait to film until they get past us. Full-blown gray walking down. And I turn away because I'm like, I'll give them their moment. And I turn back and I'm like, where'd the guy go? And they're like, what guy? And I'm like, perfect. And Phil's like, the camera's up.
Like that.
You're missing stuff. It's happening.
How did you get onto, through all the experiences, how did that happen? How did you end up on Expedition X? What was that whole process for you?
It was Arkansas Paranormal Expo. So my mom created that and I host it every year and they found me through that. And my mom was like, I'm not good with Facebook and there was a scout that was messaging me and I never got on there. And then he started messaging my mom and she was like, I think you should answer this. And so I did. And then I had a couple meetings and they flew me out and that was how it happened. It really was just, I was doing something I loved. And me and my mom were doing something we loved together and this hobby. And then they found me. It doesn't normally happen that way. I feel like if you are doing what y'all are doing, or if you're doing YouTube but ultimately it's just being in the right place at the right time. That really was what it was, like I couldn't have forced it. I've been paranormal investigating for over 20 years, 22 years now, 23, something like that. I don't know. Like, dating and being married, you're like, what anniversary are you on now?
Oh, no, I get to my age. How old am I? I'm like, oh, I'm 55. Lisa's like, no, I'm pretty sure you're not. I've been like this year, but I'm actually 2 years younger. Okay.
I've been living as a 55-year-old, and she's like, damn it. Totally missed my 54-year-olds. Yeah. That's wild. And you're absolutely right. Being in the right place at the right time. And, Juliet and I have been in the acting industry for years, and we're so incredibly strong on that kind of theory that if you're in the right alignment with things that you love to do and you're showing that kind of sparkly inner side of you, people pick up on that. And we have met the most amazing celebrities. We've hung out with all the guys from Stargate Atlantis and Jason Momoa and these amazing celebrities that have come over, and then we've gone, oh hey, we should all hang out, and we were on phenomenal movies, and we've had these amazing kind of encounters and opportunities to hang out with great people and be contacted and networked. And that's obviously what you were doing as well, right? You were hosting this amazing kind of convention, and then all of a sudden.
And it's all about your energy too, right? I mean, like I was having fun doing it, connecting with other cryptozoologists and ghost hunters and investigators. And it was just about that. It was about having fun. And here was a safe space where we could all talk about something that you can't always talk about in your public life, but come on in here and ask your questions or sit down and listen to our speakers or have a tarot reading or, a psychic reading, whatever it may be. It was just a way to just welcome everybody into this space.
Into this space. So is this your expo, is it still going? You still do it?
It is, yeah. And I'm still hosting it. Yeah. Love to have y'all over here.
They soon, baby.
Go to New Orleans. Don't go to New Orleans.
Yes.
We have to go to New Orleans?
Yeah. Gotta go to New Orleans so you can go look for pirates and investigate down there.
Yeah.
You had me
get some pirate treasure and we'll all go in.
I got a couple of questions for you, Heather. Are you ready? All right. Are you ready? If anyone's got a question, drop it in here. Now's the time.
There's some good ones coming up. Yeah.
Emmy asks, does Heather have any favorite rituals, if that's her thing? Do you do anything that sort of stuff?
I do love, I don't know if you consider this a ritual. I love pendulum boards and pendulums, and I love dowsing rods. And then I love any ritual that would help me communicate with whatever's there. So I'm not trying to force anything to come out. I'm not trying to raise anybody up. I'm just saying, hey, if you want to communicate, here's a heightened way to help communicate. So whether that's using the elements, if I'm in a space that I think, oh, I can use the 4 elements and I can kind of use that to represent our communication, and everything to me always just ties back into communication. Just trying to give them a voice, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great answer. I love that. And I guess, we always talk about being respectful, right? Going into a space and being respectful and treating them as real entities, real energies. Yeah.
And you always, it's so funny you say that, because I always forget that, because that's like a no-brainer, right? These are their own people, and they can't always get someone's attention, and maybe they've been waiting for years to be heard. So it's give them the space to do that, and whether that's me putting out audio recorders or using other different tools so I can go back and see if they had anything to say to me. I mean, sometimes it's not nice.
yeah, we've had a few.
Rude.
Like, oh, how rude.
You're like, excuse me.
It's like you walk around, it's like, I'm a demon. You're like, oh, no, you're not. Just get out of it. Just go and speak to somebody else.
Yeah, you're like, get out. And I'm like, I'm not leaving yet.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
So that brings me to my question. I've got a couple of other questions to ask, but Juliet's really rough with her ghosts, right? She's very much like, no, off you go. Like, she'll tell them exactly what she means, and like very, very restrictive, and this is how it works, mate. What's your kind of attitude to that? And I know everyone's a little bit different on how they kind of respond.
It depends. Like, if I don't ever antagonize, I don't ever try to stir anything up. But if something's being pretty aggressive with me, like, or if something's telling me to get out or leave, I'm like, I'll tell them I'm not leaving yet. Like, there's something here that that needs to be understood. And so, like, I will leave eventually, but we're not done here, and we're still investigating, and I'm sorry if that makes you uncomfortable. And I always feel like those are the old grouchy ones anyways, they're just...
they're like grouchy old men.
Yes, it's like a guy comes up, like the little old man. He's like,
Yeah, and that's that. You can literally tell. It's like I said to Lisa, you can tell if it's like a really kind of demonic or like a really, and not everything's demonic, and that's what you say to people. People will be like, oh, it said it's a demon. Doesn't mean it's a demon. They're just messing with you. And so I do the same. I'm like,
you can tell.
You can tell, yes, you know that difference. And I stand my ground, and and they'll always be like, oh, I'm a demon. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm like, just stop, and it's just, you kind of get that.
How do you know? How do you know the difference? I've never experienced a demon entity sort of energy. I've definitely had some bad juju, but how do you know the difference?
I think so. It's a combination of feeling that bad energy and feeling. So I always say, like, I always feel, whenever I feel like something's around, it's always back here. I'm like, oh, something's watching me. Something's here. Yeah. And it usually feels animalistic. Yeah. Or I hear a growl or a grunt or like this low pitched. And that's not to say that there's not, other demons or entities that might present themselves as, children or something, very creepy like that. But for me, it's always been this like animalistic.
Yeah. It's just, you can't, it's like a full body, like, whoosh. Yeah. It's like, okay, now I know you're not good. We've only had one real situation like that with Lisa when we were at the cemetery, and like I saw this thing, and I'm just like, we're leaving, we're gone.
We're gone.
Yeah, and that was wild, right? Like, because Juliet doesn't get scared about these things ever, and I saw fear in her, and she just went, shit, we're going. And I was like, but it says monster. And she was like, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I get scared all the time. It never ceases to amaze me when something's messing with me or a door slams or something. I just get my energy just gets so high up, and I'm just so on edge, and I can feel everything around me that I'm just like, something's here, something's about to mess with me, something's about to poke me, something's about to happen, and then it does scream.
I was going to ask you about that, because Juliet and I, when we first knew you were going to come on the show, we were like, oh, Heather screams a lot.
But I laugh a lot, but that doesn't make the show.
Yeah, it doesn't make the show. Yeah. Look, I do get scared. I do get scared. Yeah. Like, if I'm kind of dealing with like something there, you've got to try and stand your ground and be like, no. She, Lisa here, ran off with the guide and left me in the middle of the asylum. And I went, they would say, oh, go into here. And I literally got a full finger thing right across my eyebrow. There was like no doubt about it. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, Lisa, oh my God. And I'm like literally going power walking all the way to the other side of the asylum to find them. And I went, oh my God, she touched me. And then she literally ran her hand right across my hand. It was like, I'm like, Lisa's like, is she still here? I'm like,
Still here.
It's still here.
But I guess that's it, you know, like when and we know this, like television shows are cut and pasted together. You film for 20 hours and then you only get 45 minutes out of it. And Britt, you know, like is the first to tell us that the majority of what we saw on Lost Monster Files was very minimal and we didn't see any of the lead up.
So many hours, you know?
So many hours. Yeah, absolutely. And you don't realize it until you've been on set or you've been part of a production. You have no idea how much footage and how many things happened that doesn't make the cut, right? So you only see what the production crew wants to put together.
Right.
And I guess, you know, for you, I understand that. I think if I watched one of the shows, I can't even remember where you were, but you were in a jail somewhere and you said to Josh Gates, okay, I need to go and sit in that jail cell because there's something in it. And I was like, are you stupid? Like, what is wrong with you? But I understand that.
And I knew there was something in there. I knew there was going to be something in there. I sat down and that was one of the clearest disembodied voices I'd ever heard in my life. And I told them, I said, I heard something. Did y'all hear that? No, I didn't hear it. No, I didn't hear it. So when I was going back through, I was like, you can hear it loud as day that this low growling voice says hell. And I was just like, okay. And that's when I was like, I'm done.
Yeah. Open the door.
Yeah. And the reality of like being in the dark, essentially in the dark by yourself, is enough to make me just go, I'm not doing that, let alone things that may touch my hair or try to talk to me. Like, yeah.
Well, you know, me and my mom, we always grew up saying you don't ever investigate on your own. You always have a partner, right? Well, sometimes on the show, I'm completely on my own. So I'm pretty open, right? You don't really have anybody watching your back. Yeah, you're vulnerable. So, but yeah, I'm a screamer. I've come to terms with it.
Yeah. Lisa is too. I do yell occasionally, but you know.
Then I'm like, thank God I brought my giant machete with me. Always must have a giant blade. I have a question from one of our members, Heather. This is from Erin. She says, for Heather, I've been fascinated by the paranormal since my teenage years. I'm now 44. Great number, by the way, Erin.
Lucky number.
I get excited at all of the paranormal gadgets that you use on the show. Which ones are your favorites for capturing activity? Can you share one of your most unique paranormal experiences? So 2 questions.
I love spirit boxes. I know people don't always love them, but I think it's about you can tell when it's something real coming through versus like a radio station. And I love having an audio recorder with that, and going back through and being like, that was didn't hear that at the time, you know. And I love, like, there was an experience where it was like straight up communicating. Like, here's my spirit box going, and this happens, but this time it was like sentences, and it was so stinking cool because I would ask a question and it would be like sentences back directly tied to my question, and so I always love the audio recording of it. I love my XLS. I like being able to see the 3D format versus an SLS. Love the pendulum, love dowsing rods. Let me see. I like EMF detectors a lot. I've been using them in a kind of a different way where sometimes I use my K2 meter as like a yes and no kind of situation. So that's been interesting to have hits. So I'll for example, I'll say like, oh, you know, if you want this to say yes, spike it. And if it doesn't spike, then I'll say no. I'll know it's no. And so it spikes. And I'm like, great. And so that's just a different way to do it. And I've got my trip wires. Y'all, I love cat balls. Love cat balls.
Yes.
Like, who doesn't love a cat ball? Because it's touch, you know, you have to touch it for it to light up. It's not, love it. And I have different versions of that now where I'm constantly looking to think outside of the box. So I've got kids toys. So, you know, bigger balls that are touch. I've got like a motion detector toy car. So if something waves in front of it, it moves, you know, like anything that you can, cool. You just have to keep thinking outside of the box, right? Because like our equipment isn't always there. I have a really cool IR sensor illumination case that it's the same thing. You have to wave, you know, get close to it. But it's about like thinking as widely as you can. My favorite spirit box doesn't have an antenna. So I'll either use a trigger object to plug in to where the antenna would be. So that could, like a Chillingham, I use a sword, or I use my own finger and I try to use myself as an antenna to communicate, or I connect it to some other piece of furniture, anything like that. So it's about constantly thinking outside the box because the new ghost tools come out every so often, right? You know, so it's about like, well, what can I use that can maybe do this? I've used candles with flames, I've used water, like anything I can. I try to
And
do.
especially like if you're going into these older places, you're taking in this modern technology and you're like, hey, speak to this. And, how are they going to know what that is? You know what I mean? Because that's my thing. It's like, explain to them what this is. So this will happen if you put this energy into it. I'm just going, here's this. You're a ghost. You'd be like, what the hell's that?
Think it's more the intent of us willing to communicate with them that comes across, if it makes sense. Like language isn't a barrier. Like for me, they don't have a physical body, so why would like them listening? I think it's more about my intent to be pure and to communicate with them and give them a voice, and for them to be able to understand that I'm coming in such a way that I'm not trying to like discredit them or prove that they don't exist. I'm trying to support them. There's something there that I probably should flesh out more, but I do believe it's all about our energy that we bring to the investigation and our intent. That's truly what.
And that's exactly what we do. We will enter a space and we'll introduce ourselves and we say we come here with respect. We mean no disrespect. We're not here to take anything away or judge you. We're just here to listen. And that's a real kind of big part of what we do when we go into these investigations 100%. As well.
And I love Heather that you talk about being an antenna, because it all comes down to your grounding and your energy, and we are energetic beings, like as a nutritionist, qualified nutritionist, our body runs on electrical charges. I'm a person by trade, that's why you have to be over 60% of water so that you can have that electrical charge come down to your muscles and fire things off. And so that's why people say go and ground yourself, take your shoes and your socks off and ground yourself, because you have to get rid of the positive ions that your body absorbs. And so if we're going into an energetically charged space, it makes sense that we can be an antenna. I love that idea. And I'd never really thought about it like that, but you're absolutely right. We literally are putting off EMF all the time, and we're putting off energy, and we are able to connect in so many different ways.
So then they can interact with you, right? Because you've cleared your energy, you've centered yourself. You're not going into a space, all frenetic and frantic. You're totally centered.
And there's nothing worse than watching these shows where they go in to aggravate. They purposely go in. Oh my God! Oh, let's piss off this one. I'm just like, it's like no wonder you get scratched or or whatever, or possessed like every TV show, but we won't name names. But there's a lot of discussions in house about that. But but it's just like, why would you do that? Why would you go into that space? Because you're leaving that space and other people are going to be there, or other people are living there, or other people are in this museum or whatever. And you have literally gone in there and aggravated the hell out of it. And now you've left. So what's,
stirring it up. You're stirring everything up.
You've disturbed it. And
And I guess like what Juliet and I had to do during our acting career, we had to choose our roles really carefully, right? It all comes down to integrity and where you're placed. And I guess for you, you're probably in the same position, being that you're working in like the dream job that most of us would love to have. I'm pretty sure every single person on the post that we have on Instagram wrote, she has my dream job. Like, I
even thought it would be a job when we were interested in this, it's just something you're passionate about. I think my lucky stars, I get to do it every day.
Yeah. Are there things that you kind of go, I will not compromise on that? Like if you were asked to do something within that space, what are those things that you wouldn't compromise on, like, or that you wouldn't kind of
Demonic rituals?
What's that?
I don't demonic rituals.
Oh,
Anything that's stirring that up, I don't do. I have a way of doing my investigations. So the way I use a spirit box, the way I use the XLS, I don't compromise on any of that. I don't compromise on my investigations. If I am learning a communication ritual, I have to be taught by someone that is either a magician or, someone knowledgeable. I'm not gonna just go willy-nilly out in this world.
And protection is such a big part of it, isn't it? Having that protection and putting that in place before you go in.
I got the opportunity. I went to the Warren Museum, and some people think it's fake, some people think it's real. All I know is that place was insane, and I was blessed before I went in, and I was blessed before I came out. I was like, "Yep, I'll take more."
Where's that holy water?
My
feet. Exactly.
Wow. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I think integrity is everything, right? And that's what we love. We love people that have integrity, and we're forever looking for people, men and women within this industry, that actually have integrity and stand strong on what they believe in, and we connect with that and we resonate with that massively. And that's one of the reasons we started Cryptid Women's Society. So I appreciate that so much, that you're honest with it, because there's certain things that people will bend to all the time. Pay me the right amount of money and I'll do a demonic, ritual, not a problem.
Pay me enough.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way.
Yeah.
Boy, you'd straight to the Vatican to meet their whole demonic side or something. There's no way. There is no way.
Yeah. And I think that's it. When you are dealing with supernatural and paranormal entities, there is such a powerful dark side. And if you've got any kind of brain about you, you're not going to mess with that. There are people, we've got women that deal on that side of it, and kudos to them. But man, it's just not something that I would mess with in any way, shape, or form.
Well, and I think it gives you really great credibility as well, Heather, like being able to say, I know what that is about. I'm experienced enough, knowledgeable enough to understand where my happiness lies and where my boundaries are. And it gives real credibility to your experience and who you are as an investigator. I think that's really, really cool. I'm kidding. What? And next we're going to be doing
we are.
Heather will be in the back room later for anyone that wants to just. No, okay, no. Heather, I have a question. The second part of Erin's question, in fact, was, can you share one of your most unique paranormal experiences?
Cryptid or haunted or UFO?
Had a cryptid experience?
Cryptid,
I guess
we'll hijack Erin's question.
So, Falkmonts, that episode, I didn't even make it to air. I got some amazing prints. I mean,
oh wow!
I took pictures of them, and I would have to jump from one print to the next, and I'm like, they were huge. So that was super cool. It was about 4 sets of prints before it got to like sandy silt. So there was more, but that was super cool to have that many defined. Not like defined. You can always tell you're like, am I looking at a print? But the depression, everything was really cool. The Loch Ness Monster, we got a sonar hit, and I still to this day don't know how this wasn't picked up more. I mean, it was over 20 feet. There's nothing in that lake that lives to be 20 feet. And it was a snake-like sonar hit. And it stayed on our sonar, our ROV, for a while. It to this day, it's like, well, it wasn't an eel. Eels are small in Loch Ness, so that wasn't super cool.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, I mean, that was like a bucket list for me. And then UFO wise, when I was in my teens in the panhandle of Florida, and there's about 20, 30 people on the beach. We were on a beach, and we saw 6 orange lights, and they're stationary, very high up in the sky. And then They go out one by one, and then they come back on, and they never moved. They were just stationary, and they were huge, and they would have formation. It was really cool, and everybody on the beach was like, "What the hell are we looking at?" I'm like, "Well, maybe we're looking at you know?
Who wants to say it first?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Those are my UFOs and cryptids. And then haunting wise, I couldn't pick one. I've just been so lucky. I've experienced stuff with my mom that was really cool that we have experienced at the same time. That was awesome. But the access that the show has enabled me to have to get to these places that are so active has been phenomenal. And I'll give Chillingham was one where I set up the cat balls, and I was in this room. I was staying the night, and it was supposed to be haunted by a little boy. So I was like, I'm gonna put out toys, And the first cat ball, like, it looked like it dropped off of this rocking horse. I'm like, it just fell off. Put it back on, and then it drops again, and it goes 2 feet this time, and I'm like, see if this happens again. And I put it on, and then the next time it goes flying across the room. And I'm like, okay.
Like, are you getting it yet?
Noted. I was thick-headed. But yeah, no, and I mentioned some of the other experiences. It never ceases to amaze me seeing things, hearing things, doors shutting on their own. And it's all the coolest things to me are the progression. Like when, it's a soft door shut. And it's a little bit louder, and then it's a slam, or it's a knock, it's a tap. I love the progression of things. Then you're like, oh, you're interacting with me. This is not residual. This is an intelligent haunting, and you're like, hello. So yeah.
And then they're like, hello back, and you're like, oh damn. and isn't it crazy? You have those intelligent conversations, and you walk away going, oof, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's super cool when you're like, hi, and you get like 10 voices back being like, hi, 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 hi.
Like, wow, I'm obviously not alone tonight. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation.
Hey, Heather, I've got a couple of questions that were asked by some of your followers, in fact, that I thought I would bring to this. They asked if they could ask their questions. So I thought I'd just drop it on this, and then they can watch it on YouTube later. Newt's Girl 15, Newt's Girl 5. Yeah. Okay, that's the handle. Asks, what is your favorite haunted place? Hard question.
I can't mention a new one, but so MacArthur Museum, where we hold the expo, is like my home haunted place. If that makes sense. I was doing sleepovers there when I was a kid, so I knew it was a haunted for a very long time, and that's why we hold the expo, to give the proceeds to them. So that's my home haunted place. But Chillingham, Chillingham, like, was just off the charts. You couldn't have asked for better activity and a better variety of activity, right? It's not just audio, it's visual, it's movement. Like, it was, it was cool. That I'm trying to think of another one really sticks out. I mean, there's so many good ones that have such good. The Conjuring episode, that was not a large space, and it had a ton of activity. And there's another house that I investigated that was super tiny, and I'm like, oh man, it's got 3 rooms. Like, how much activity can there really be? Boy, let me tell you, a lot. A lot.
You're like, oh, hello.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, the most amazing thing about Expedition X is having the access to all of these different places that I never would have been able to before. Even Risa Tunnels, I heard mumbling, and I kept telling the crew, I was like, we gotta radio, make sure everybody's quiet. It was not our crew, and it sounded like voices constantly mumbling, and you hear that in these very, in the Mayan underworld, that cave, it was very similar. You just hear these things, which are just so phenomenal that, it would, even though I did pick one, it's hard to pick one.
Yeah. I should say. Blows your mind. There's too many options. Yeah, I feel you on that. Hey, the next question is, and you might laugh at this, and feel free to say no. Okay. But the next question is from Red Leg Hog 1971. He says, be sure to ask her how to do the hog call. She's from Arkansas.
It is a loud call. And I think it would probably hurt all of y'all's eardrums. So I'll just settle with woo pig suey. That's what I'll do. We don't have to do a full call, as it were. But how about them hog?
All right, there you go. There you go. Okay. I don't understand it, but I said, oh my gosh, yes, we will. So there you go, right? Be happy. Be happy. She's done it. And hey, my last question for you, and I know that we've gone over time, and I love the fact that you're sticking around with us. Thank you. My last question, maybe Juliet's got some more, but my last question is, what is Josh Gates actually like? Give us the rundown. Tell us what
he's absolutely the best. You know, like, I couldn't have a better mentor. You know, this guy has traveled the world. He did the paranormal. He's done excavations. He's an archaeologist. He has this incredible career in TV. But what you see on TV is what you get in person. So he's incredibly funny. He's charismatic. Every time I work with him, I learn so much. I'm like, oh, well, that's how you do TV. That's how you're a charismatic person. Like, he's just great. I couldn't speak more highly of him. I'm so happy that he has, you know, taken me under his wing, and couldn't appreciate him more. He's awesome.
I mean, like, how long I've been when it first came out, because I didn't know about the earlier stuff that he had done.
Yeah.
You know, so it wasn't until the, Expedition X came out, and Expedition Unknown, sorry, and then I started watching. I'm like, oh my god, who is this dude? Like, he is Indiana Jones on steroids. You know what I mean? That's into the paranormal.
I haven't told him said that because he's gonna love that.
Yeah. And then when he brought up the Expedition X, and was kind of probably doing those stories that he probably kind of really still wanted to do, being into supernatural stuff, and I've just loved the programs. And then you came on, and oh my god, it's been so much fun watching the programs, and I actually get them. Lisa doesn't.
Like paying $5 under the door for black market.
And I'll be like, hey, we'll sit there and do a live, and I'll play you on it. But like I can sit there and we watched Expedition X and Expedition Unknown with my grandkids. My grandson's 8 and my granddaughter's 10. Just love the program, and it's really good having this really knowledgeable, fun kind of programs that we can actually watch and really really enjoy. So just send the love to the whole team, and it's really appreciated.
And look, realistically speaking, tell Josh that we would love to have him on the show.
And Phil. And as much as poor Phil, love to Phil as well. He cracks me up. Something happens, he's like, no, it's gas.
He's great. He is. He's a biologist. He's gonna tell you. Gas, it's an animal. It's a bat. Flying raccoon.
It's okay. It's good. I just like the Mongolian death worm. I really want to talk to him about the Mongolian death worm. Like, such a pleasure talking to you and having you as a part of our show today, and getting the opportunity to let our members chat directly with you. That is just so beautiful. And thank you so much for giving us your time, especially around dinner time. And we appreciate it.
Oh, I've had such a blast, and I thank you all for reaching out. Like, I'm not good at doing things,
social media wise. That's me. Like, as you see, Lisa's like, oh, blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay.
I always say to Juliet, so Juliet, what's next week's topic? And she's like, I have no idea. Where's the calendar? Like, seriously.
It's all time. It's right. I'll get to it.
Just shows up.
I love y'all's energy. You're fantastic. Y'all got to stay the exact same way y'all are, because this is perfect.
Well, thank you so much. All of the girls are messaging saying, thank you so much, Heather. You're such a badass. We love you so much. Thank you, ladies. Erin says, can you just be friends with all of us forever?
Yes, I can.
She said she can. If you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Pop on over to Heather Amaro over on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. Watch Expedition X. Make sure you set your notifications so that you don't miss an episode, because apparently there's bucket loads of exploration coming up. And I'll watch it via you guys. It's fine. Jump onto cryptidwomensociety.com. Become a truth seeker. You never know who you're going to meet in the members portal. Who knows who's going to be in there? Secret squirrel. But more importantly, I'm going to keep working on Heather Amaro to try and get Phil and Josh over here. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heather. You are phenomenal. We love you to pieces, and I'm sure we're going to do this again. And make sure everyone says goodbye, and we love you to pieces. Yeah. Stick around, Heather. We'll stop recording, and we'll just have a quick chat in the background. Thanks, girls, for joining us. You girls are amazing. Thanks to all of our members, and we'll see you soon. Love you. Kiss, kiss.